Real estate is a very simple business.
Yep.
1 + 1 always equals 2. There's
Yep.
different variations in the middle of that, but it's very simple. But the process to get from 1 to 1 to 2 is what people, don't really fully grasp how difficult it is. It's a very strenuous, tough business.
It's Austin Rutherford. Today we're here with a special guest, my man Malon Johnson. We're talking about real estate today. We're talking about cryptocurrencies today. We're talking about how he's been able to build a multi-six-figure profitable business without the stress of having to work 100 hours a week. That's what I'm most impressed by, is not stressing it out and not ruining his personal life through building a business. So, my man Milan, I appreciate you being here, brother.
Thanks for having me, brother.
So tell him about yourself, Milan, kind of who you are, where you from, and what all you got going on.
As you said before, I'm Malon Johnson, Columbus, Ohio, born and raised. I got into wholesaling real estate when it wasn't like the cool thing to do, maybe about 5 years ago. From there, I've done wholesales is my primary business, and then I've done some flips as well, minor. I've done some big flips as well, but it wasn't really my thing like it was for you. And then I transitioned to smaller flips, and then now, as I still practice real estate, I've kind of ventured off into cryptocurrency, something I'm truly enthused about. I'm what you call a crypto enthusiast. So
I love it. I love it. Yeah. We're going to get into crypto here in a second because you're the one who got me into the game. So we're definitely going to touch on that. But let's start with real estate first. Real estate's kind of where it all started. You said about 5-6 years ago. So kind of tell me like the beginning process, because a lot of people think like, I'm going to get into real estate and I'm going to make a whole bunch of money like real quick. As you know, that's not how it happens. No. So for the people that are thinking that, and maybe people that have already started that are a month or two in and thinking it doesn't work, tell them, what your experience was like.
Okay, well, what I'll say is that real estate is a very simple business. Yep. 1 + 1 always equals 2. There's different variations in the middle of that, but it's very simple. But the process to get from 1 to 1 to 2 is what people, don't really fully grasp how difficult it is. It's a very strenuous, tough business. I know you said, I'm sure you told your audience, it took you 16 months to make your first penny in real estate.
Yep.
It took me about 7 or 8 months to make my first penny.
So it wasn't easy.
Very hard, bro.
But it is possible.
Yeah, bro, anything's possible. You put the work in, but it was very difficult to earn my first dollar in real estate. A lot of letdowns, a lot of why me, a lot of, you just doubting yourself during the process.
For sure.
I think that's good because it's something you got to overcome.
It brings out the real people. You know what I mean? If this business was easy, everybody would do it.
That's a fact, absolutely.
So 7-8 months in, how much was your first check, and was it a flip or a wholesale?
It was a wholesale. First deal was, I think first guy's name was Tim.
The seller?
Yep, the seller's name was Tim. It's just one of those things you never forget.
Yep.
And it was a very simple negotiation tactic. I had been talking to him for months and months, and I just called him and said, you know what? This is a deal I would want to pay $35,000 for, but for you, Tim, I'll give you $42,000. And then he took it. He went for it, and I was in awe. I couldn't believe he actually took that. Then a couple weeks later, I was able to close my first deal for $7,000. Took about 7 months to get.
An assignment, a wholesale.
Yes, an assignment, a wholesale.
Perfect.
And then I rode home from the title company with the check seatbelt to the passenger seat. So I just couldn't believe that I had done it.
For sure.
So it was surreal at that time.
I love it. My first check, $7,000 when I started was like a lot of money.
Absolutely.
But it's not like massively life changing.
No.
But then what happened with your second deal?
Second deal, it took me about another 3 months to get. This was, again, me not knowing the business properly, not maximizing profits. I think I split $2,800 with someone.
Okay.
And we both walked away with about $1,400 a piece. So in 10 months or so, I had got 2 deals for about $8,400.
Okay. But the third one was the big one.
Third one was not the big one.
What was the big one?
The big one was later on down the line.
Oh, man,
The big one was 24 months into the business.
Got you, okay.
So the third deal was for $3,300, and that was 2 or 3 months later. So in a fiscal 12 months.
I never knew that.
Yeah, in a fiscal 12 months, I had done 3 deals for a grand total of about $14,000 and some change.
That's crazy. I thought you hit the big one earlier than that. So let's get the cat out the bag. What was that big deal? How much money did you make? So
it was a deal in Old Town East, in that area. It was 3 properties. It was 1 quad, 1 duplex, 2 duplexes and 1 quad. Super desirable areas, as you know.
Yep.
And the guy had inherited those properties from his dad. His dad had done very well in real estate.
Yep.
And I had so many like hard times trying to get those deals. I remember getting up out of the bed, rushing to the lawyer's office because someone had to go do this work and I wasn't gonna let this deal slip away. So it was one of those, like, I used to talk to myself like, I mean, listen, God, I ain't going nowhere. I'm not going nowhere. So you might as well, you know, just let me knock down this door because I'm coming.
Yep.
It was one of those type of things because there was so many obstacles in the way of getting that deal done. But long story short, I was able to do everything I needed to do with the help with title company and everyone else to get the deal done. And it closed for $84,500 and from Monday to Friday.
So that's life-changing money.
That is.
I love it. So 24 months in, you made 14 grand your first year, and then you make 84 grand in one deal.
Yep.
So it works.
It does. And
it just ain't always an easy process.
But it feels good when it does work.
Absolutely. I say it all the time. It's never a matter if something's going to happen. It's only a matter of when something's going to happen. As long as you continue to take those consistent actions.
Absolutely.
So funny story. The way I ended up meeting Milan is I was in the gym. He was sitting on the bench. He was talking to somebody next to him. I was walking by, and I heard he was like, "I just wholesaled this deal."
Yep.
And I turned to him and I was like, "Hey, my name's Austin. What's your name?" He's like, I'm Malon. Like, what's up? I was like, "Yo, you know, I'm in real estate. You know, I'd love to connect." And you know, we've been best friends ever since then. But it's the power of like talking to people.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And after I introduced myself, you're like, "Yo, let's go to lunch."
Yep.
And like, that's how you build a connection.
Yeah.
That's how you build a friendship.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Now we're down here in St. Lucia for my guy's 30th birthday.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
it's still one of the coolest stories I could tell, bro.
For sure.
How we ended up, bro.
Bro, 1 second before or after, I wouldn't have heard it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just wild. And then I think like a couple weeks after that, you ended up wholesaling that 4-unit.
Yeah.
And then I was like,
no, I had sold the 4-unit
right before we met.
Right before we met, and he found out that was me.
I was sick.
Yeah.
I heard about this deal. I wanted the deal
because I had smacked it big already.
Bro, it was a great deal.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Yo," he's like, "I already sold it." But no, that's funny. That's funny. So, you know, it started in real estate.
Yep.
You know, 2 years in, hit a big deal, and then kept growing, kept wholesaling, started doing some flips, some small rehabs, and you know, obviously still doing real estate today.
Yep.
Like I said at the beginning, you know, something I'm impressed by is how you've been able to build a business and make multiple 6 figures, but you don't stress out. You don't work 100. There's stress to it. Don't get me wrong.
Absolutely.
But you don't work 100 hours a week. You know, you're not working from 7 a.m. sun up till sundown. So kind of talk about that. You know, what does that look like? You know, do you plan that to have the lifestyle that you want to have? You know, what does that look like for you?
I kind of think for me, it kind of just boils down to like who we are, the type of work ethic we all have in us. You know, the work ethic you have in you was instilled as a young person. Same with me. And as we get older, we're kind of just still the same people we were as kids. So I would say it's just who I am. I always like to do things my way, the way I want to do it on my terms. And I don't shy away from hard work. I just don't want to work every single day. I don't even know how to move that way. I don't know how to operate that way. I would love to be okay working 100 hours the way you do. I just don't have that in me. So what I've learned to do is just be very efficient and make sure I take care of all the things that need to be done, and I don't let things get too far away from me before I start to tackle them, because then you get overwhelmed because now everything is way away from where you need to be with getting things done.
For sure. You know, we was talking about it earlier before this video. You know, there's a different type of lifestyle if you want to make, you know, a few $100 grand or $1 million a year versus $50 million a year.
Yeah.
It's a very different path to get there. One causes a lot of stress, a lot of time away from your friends and family. The other one you can do relatively passively and live a great life doing it. You know what I mean? It's just what do you want at the end of the day?
That was exactly what I was going to say. You got to map out what is it that you want? What type of life do you want to live? What type of stress can you handle?
Yep.
The more money you make towards the 50 million, it gets more political. As you can see as yourself, as you move up, it becomes more political. I don't want to go down that route. Yeah. Of course, I 50 million dropped on my doorstep.
We all gonna take it.
I'm gonna hold it tight, but it's not something I yearn for. Now, 10, 20 million, eventually I do expect to, you know, eclipse those numbers. But I also think as you get older, you learn more, you get better. you don't have to work as much to get that 10 million as you would have when you were first starting off, because now you've developed connections.
Yep.
And as long as you're in the right rooms and you have some money to put and some value to exchange, I absolutely think you can do that without working 100 hours a week.
And I think we know that avenue, which we're going to talk to in just a second.
1,000%.
But you know, I want to make this very clear. There's no right or wrong answer to that question. How much money do you want to make? You know, if you want to make 100 grand, you want to make 50 million, do it.
Yeah.
Just understand there's a different process to getting to both of those things. But there's no right or wrong answer here in any way, shape, or form.
And more times than not, your hunger and your appetite will grow the closer you get to the number that you thought
you're
you
like,
wanted.
yeah, all right, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
No, I love it. And something that I've, you know, really kind of opened my eyes a lot in the last year to year and a half is I used to pride myself on like working. You know, I'll outwork anybody. I'll put in 100 hours a week, and it was great. It got me to where I'm at today. But it's like, what do I want? What do I want my lifestyle to look like? So it's stepping back and realizing you can make a lot of money without having to work 24/7, 365.
Absolutely.
Which kind of leads us into this next thing. Like I said at the beginning, you know, Malon's the one that got me into cryptocurrency, and I'm a big believer in it. I made a lot of money this year doing it, but you know, what got you interested in it into the first place?
So a little backstory. A guy I kind of looked at as a mentor years ago when I was like 18 or 19. I had bumped into him, just kind of like how we were talking. I was just walking down the sidewalk. He said, "Hey, Milan." So then we started talking, and in the middle of, you know, the conversation always gets to, so what are you into now? So he was telling me about the blockchain and crypto. And as he's talking, I pulled my phone out and started taking notes. Now, I felt a little rude doing that, but I didn't want to let what he was telling me pass me up. And a person who understands wanting to make money and provide, they won't think that's rude. They'll appreciate that. Really, you're taking what
just
they're
tell them,
saying serious.
Like, look, I want to take all this in. Like, I want to take notes.
Absolutely. So another thing that I did after that conversation, which again, most people don't do, is I went and actually learned and studied and Googled what he was telling me about, so it can make sense to me. When a lot of times you go out to lunch with people, that's the end of it. They never
in one ear and out the other.
Exactly. So I started to research, and the more I research, I'm a very logical person. So if it clicks and it makes sense, it makes so much sense. And at that point, I remember telling you, like, give me a little time. I think I'm onto something. Because it made so much sense. And I've grown to believe that crypto is the greatest investment opportunity. No, don't give me, when I say that, I don't mean you're going to win, because you can lose it. Whenever there's a winner, there's a loser. But it's the greatest investment opportunity of our lifetime.
Agreed, for sure. Definitely agreed. And, you know, going back to it, like you said, it's the power of having the right people in your circle, right? You learned about it. You went home and studied it. You're like, yo, Austin, like, here's what I got. You know, you really got to pay attention to this. And same exact thing, the same way Kareem told you, the same way you told me. I went home that night. Like, I went home, watched 7 hours of videos just on crypto to understand it.
I remember you telling me that.
Next day came back, I'm like, all right, where we putting money at? You know, when you see an opportunity, you take advantage of it. But I cannot stress the importance of having the right people in your circle. You know, a lot of people wouldn't say something because they don't want somebody to win with them. You know, they want to outperform or whatever it is. You know, good people, the right people in your life, they want to see everybody win around them.
Absolutely.
And you know, like I said, I've made a lot of money from investing into it. I'm a huge believer in it, and I appreciate you know, putting me onto it for sure.
Hey, bro, we brothers, bro. I wouldn't even feel right. I wouldn't feel right if I had an opportunity I can tell you about.
Absolutely. So we've gone through it. You started in real estate, got into crypto, but you wouldn't have been able to invest into crypto without having the money to invest. So let's take it back to real estate for a second. You know, you've been able to make a lot of money, do a lot of deals, which is through acquisitions. So, you know, what does that process look like for you? Because I know when I started, I was very nervous to get on the phone. You know, I hated it, but you've been very good at it. So, you know, what does that look like for you? What would that process look like?
So was I. Very nervous about talking to sellers, and I mean, we live in a land of no's. We're searching out for the yeses. It's really, it's very simple, but that also makes it difficult. So for me, I wanted to be, I think I heard someone say, I want somebody to cry on my shoulder. I was
rapport, baby.
Rapport. So when I call you, I understood for a long time you're not going to get a deal off of talking to the seller the first time. So I would continue to call and continue to call. If they say call in 4 weeks, I'm calling in 2 or 3. Because I also don't want someone else to call who's in their ear to you know, get that deal when I didn't. And I hate losing out on deals
100%.
when I know this seller.
Yep.
So it's all in follow-up. So I wanted to be the person they can cry on. And then I also wanted to be, I explain it as someone, when say I promise you something, Austin, and then someone else comes to me with a better deal. And I want to take it, but I feel bad because I gave it to you.
Yep.
I want to be that person on the seller.
That they feel bad.
That they feel bad for if they don't give me the deal because they've spoke to me so much time. They know how many hours I put in talking to them, and they know me by first name. They know my voice. I ask them about their family, their dog, wherever they want a vacation to, what they want to do with the money. So at that time, like, we know each other. We may not be friends, but they know exactly who Milan is. I know exactly who Karen is.
For sure.
And over time, you build that relationship.
100%.
You'll get that deal.
100%.
And that's kind of like who I've been on the phones and why I've been able to, you know, be successful getting leads.
So the two big things I heard there. The fortunes in the follow-up.
Yep.
That's how you make 90% of your money.
1000%.
Very rarely do you ever close on a first call.
Yep.
And honestly, a lot of people never do the follow-ups.
Yeah.
But that's literally where the money's at.
Yep.
So that's number one. And number two is have crazy rapport. Most people get on the phone like, hey, you want to sell? Boom, let's talk numbers.
Yep.
Can't do that.
No.
You got to talk about their life. You got to talk about why they want to move, where they're moving to, their husband, their kids, their dog, their cat. You know, I always like to joke, like, you know, if you got a cat, I'm a cat lover.
Period.
If you got a dog, I'm a dog lover.
Man.
If you like the Bengals, I love the Bengals.
I got a dog named Butch. And I've never had a dog
Pull up
before,
on Google, YouTube, some noises of dogs barking. Like, he's actually out back barking right now.
It's that serious.
Yeah.
Because they don't care if you love dogs or not. They just want to connect with you.
100%. 100%.
That's it.
So fortunes in the follow-up, and if you have the best rapport, you're going to win.
I couldn't agree more.
I love it, man. I love it. Nah, brother, you know, it's getting a little dark here. We got some food cooking up here. So we're going to get it wrapped up. For anybody who wants to, you know, get in touch with you to learn anything else, ask you any questions, where can people find you at?
I'm on Instagram, just Malon, MALONP Johnson. You can also find me on Facebook, Malon Patrick Johnson, I believe. So yeah, come follow me.
I love it. I love it, man. I greatly appreciate you taking the time to do this. You know, inviting me down to St. Lucia, and you know, just being one of my boys. So appreciate you being on here, my brother. All right, my man.